All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Amrit Singh, who is a high momentum life coach. Amrit, how you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming on the show, and we like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm German originally, so we don't do a lot of fun in Germany. It's all about get some work done and then that's your fun. But I'm married to a Mexican woman, so that certainly takes care of a whole lot of the fun aspect because she always got something planned. And since we moved here to Mexico last year, there's been a party every weekend, and we're going out, and there's a lot of dancing, and there's lots of friends and a lot of connections. So I can kind of just be in the back seat there and let her take the lead on the fun aspect in our life.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, I am very similar. I'm pretty introverted. I'm also very business oriented, and I'm in like the build phase of my life right now. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
always thinking about business. And so even when I'm in social situations, I'll let my wife kind of drive it. But yeah, that's really cool. Really
Yeah,
fun.
very much. I resisted to say I work for fun because that's really what I do. Because now, my work is so much fun and I love doing everything I do. And so I have to like force myself to get off the computer at a certain time. So I can
Yeah,
spend some time with my family, but I do enjoy it a lot.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, awesome. Tell us a little bit more about being a high momentum life coach. What does that look like on the day to day, and how do you help clients?
Yeah, I mean, kind of it goes right along with the theme of your podcast. I'm in the dream creation business, right? I love it when people come to me with their dreams and the bigger the better, and like really want to expand and they're motivated and want to go out there and they want to make changes in their life. And it's just so powerful to be allowed to be part of that and to be part of that journey. And it's so inspirational for me to just, see someone. And this is really why I like this high momentum thing. It's a little bit like rolling a big boulder, right? And you're pushing against it and it moves like a quarter of an inch. And you're like, no, I can never roll this thing. And then suddenly, after like a month or two, it rolls a little bit more. And then after 6 months, you got some momentum in it. And now suddenly stuff is going and things are happening and it's exciting for my clients and it's super exciting for me, and so I love this line of work.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So the high momentum is really like people who kind of have something they're going after and are ready to start taking that action. That's where you
Exactly.
come in.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I become their ally and support them a little bit through my knowledge in yoga and meditation, which I integrate into my coaching sessions. I do guided meditations with people. Sometimes they'll ask me very specific questions and say, oh, I want to do some specific meditation to have more focus or to be more clear or to have more energy. And so I can help them with that. And so it's a nice combination of my knowledge, which I have from being a Kundalini Yoga teacher for 30 years, and now in this field of coaching, which has been my passion my whole life. I just never made it my one and only job, and so that's been a big jump for me just 2 years back when I went all in.
I gotcha. And what made you do the shift to all in?
uh I was having a job which I started and it was kind of nice. It was like a transition job. First, I was in India for 20 years. I worked as an administrator at a school there. And that was very fulfilling because I felt I was part of a mission. I was part of something bigger. We were building this project up there. And so it was very cool. But when my wife and I decided 4 years ago to leave from there and to have like a second part of our lives, we're both in our 40s, we're saying like, okay, either we get out now or we stay here another 20 years and then really this becomes, this is it. And so we both really felt that there was the need to do more. So we quit and left, and then came this in between stage, right, where you're exploring and figuring things out. And so I was just open minded. I had a job offer from the community, and I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that job. But then I very quickly realized how dry it was to, just write emails to people or do interviews about like cases that were happening. And it just became so boring that I was like, what am I doing with myself
Yeah.
just for like a paycheck, right? And so I pulled the plug and I told my wife, let's do this. Let's move to Mexico because we were living in Germany at the time. And for my wife being Mexican, that's always been her dream. And I knew that, but she would have never like been the one forcing the family to move and being the one who says like, okay, let's do this. And so when I said, let's move to Mexico, she was like, really? Are you sure? And how my daughter put it, oh, actually I have to ask, is it okay to use a little bit explicit language on your podcast?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so how my daughter put it, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? I just learned German. We're like, so sorry, third language coming in, you know?
Yeah,
And so we moved to Mexico and I quit my job and it was best decision of my life.
there we go. And now you're a high performance life coach, getting on track with people when they're in that high momentum stage of like dreams and goals, ready to go after it. But tell
Mhm.
us about, you said it's kind of been a passion for you for your whole life.
Yeah.
So tell us about your motivation behind that. What really gets you up and keeps you going every day?
Well, I realize now looking back, now I'm almost 50 and looking back on last 30, 35 years of my life, I'm like, I've always been coaching people. I was
Yeah.
always the guy, yeah, you can do this and come on and let's do it, you know, like and really getting people motivated. And so in my job too, I was like, God, like that's what I did. That's what I enjoyed the most. That's what I was good at. I always had my employees rotating through my office and we had these coaching sessions because they were like, I'm ready to quit. This is too much. We're like, no, come on, you can do it. And
Yeah.
so it was very cool to realize now that it has been lining up for such a long time. I just didn't see it. And so when I finally opened my eyes to it, and I finally was like, oh yeah, I've been a coach all my life. I just didn't, I didn't commit to it.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And let's talk dreams and goals now. What's your vision for your coaching practice and your life?
Well, that's a big one because I started so recently. And so for me, it's really about expanding, reaching more people, combining the knowledge I have from my Kundalini Yoga practice, from my personal meditation practice, and from the coaching, because I see there is so much need out in the world. And there's so few people who are doing it at a high level. And there is, I mean, there's just times have changed so much just in the last 5, 10 years
Yeah.
for how people's mindsets changed around spirituality, around hiring a coach, about taking ownership and responsibility of their lives. So I really envision myself, like leading a tribe of people who want to learn and who want to have that inspiration in their life and supporting them and giving back the best I can, and be the most efficient in my service of how I serve people.
Okay. Okay. So expanding to impact more people, and then as you expand, being the most efficient in that service.
Yeah, because there's just so many hours. I mean, we all just have 24 hours, 7 days a week, right? So there's either like you dangle some of your time away, or you really come down to, hey, this is a high impact activity. And the more I do of this, the more people I can reach, the more lives I can impact. So let's go after it. And it's been scary and challenging for me because I never wanted to be like on TikTok and making videos and, like writing things about really personal things in my life and all these things I'm doing now. Where I'm like, oh my God, if someone would have told me this 3 years ago, I would have laughed at them.
Yeah.
Right. So it has become part of my identity now to say, like, okay, if you are really serious about reaching this big group of people, you're going to have to step up your game. You're going to have to be vulnerable. You're going to have to open up. You're going to have to get out there and do the things, even though, like we talked about in the beginning, right? Like, even though I'm quite introverted, I need to get on those videos. I need to write these things. I need to send emails out to thousands of people. And it's scary stuff. But on the other hand, like if I can impact one person's life in a positive way with a story I spent 2 hours writing, it's worth it for me.
Mm, yeah, I love that. I think it's a cool thing when people get from their, I'm doing this for me to I'm doing this to serve other people, because that's when we start to expand out of our comfort zone, right?
Or you
And
have to, right?
yeah, exactly. I think it was Brendan Burchard who said you have your comfort zone, and you have like your uncomfort zone, the stuff you're not comfortable with, and then you have your service zone, which is beyond the zone of discomfort. And so not only do you get out of your comfort zone, but you push past being uncomfortable to serve. And that's where you're like expanding and growing at this exponential rate so that you
Yeah.
can impact more people, which is a really cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's also it's really much connected to income and making money from it, because this was another block for me where I was super uncomfortable asking people for money.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll do it for free. I'll take care of you. I'll coach you. I do this. You pay me $100. And then I realized, like, shit, I can't pay my rent. I can't buy food. I'm
Yeah.
like going through my savings at a rate where I'm like down to like the last 4 months of, where does it end? It has to, like you have to have that balance in there. And so, the amount of spiritual growth I got in the last 2 years from my business activities, from making my videos, from doing my marketing, from writing sales letters, has been more profound than from my meditation practice.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing, because I've been meditating for 30 years. That's the center of my life. And now suddenly I found something which is, even more rewarding, and it challenges me more, and it allows me to really step up my game and to step into that service zone. I love that. Yeah.
There we go. Well, you got any other dreams or goals you want to chat about before we move on? We got expanding to impact more people and being the most efficient in your service to people. Any other things you want to tack on to that?
Yeah. For me, also, it's important to have good family relations. I got an 11-year-old and a 15-year-old at home. So it's really important for me to have a good relation with them. It's important for me to improve my relationship with my wife, because when you have kids, you go into this autopilot zone where it's just like, you do this, I do this, we get through this, only 10 more years to go. Let's just not rock the boat. And it's, now that the kids are getting older, it's really a time to just say, like, hey, maybe we just need to be a little nicer to each other and talk a little nicer. And like, the house is not on fire anymore. The kids are not little. We can spend time together. So I think that's definitely another one of my goals. I just wanna be in a space where I can acknowledge all the blessings I have and feel more gratitude.
Mm, I like that. I like that a lot. The I feel like that will automatically improve those family relations when you get to the point where you can acknowledge the blessings you have and feel that gratitude, because you'll start treating the people in your life differently. And I think it'll even help you expand in business more, because you'll start treating clients
Oh yeah,
differently and word of
totally.
mouth will spread more. So
Yeah. Oh, and it's so easy to blame other people, it's so, and especially with your partner, I've been with my wife 21 years. It's a long time, there's been a lot of things which been going the same way for a long time. And it's really easy to just say, oh yeah, it's all your fault, and if you could just change, my life would be so much better.
yeah,
But it's really not how it works, right? So ultimately, choice is mine to stay in relationship, choice is mine to make that choice every single day. And then choice is mine also to be happy with it, or to stop bickering about things which will never change, because we can't change other people. It's hard enough to change ourselves.
yeah, 100%. Well, awesome. What are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop right now to make these dreams and goals come true?
Oh, funny that the two words which popped right into my mind were sales and marketing. And
Uh-huh.
I love how cheesy it sounds, because it's been one of those things where you're like, oh, like for 30 years, I was like, I would never be in sales and marketing. That's so below me. I'm like up here, and sales and marketing is down here. I'm a yogi, I meditate, I serve, I would never ask for money, like all
Yeah.
these like lofty ideas, which definitely don't pay the rent. And so I'm at this new point now where I recognize that for me, sales and marketing are the two areas where I can grow. And if I get good at those things, I can promote myself, I can go out in the world, I can impact more people's lives, and I can step into that service zone. Do I want to learn sales and marketing? No, it's probably the last thing I'm interested in. But now, like understanding the real, the real impact this can have,
Mm.
if, like, for example, like our interview, instead of going out to, I don't know, 5,000 people, goes out to 5 million people, it's completely different, right? And it all doesn't really come down to, okay, what's the level of you as a host? What's the level for me as a guest? Ultimately it comes down to how well can you and I market what we have so we can touch more people's lives rather than say, oh, sales and marketing is so bad and money is bad too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, man. For the longest time too, I was like, I'm just gonna do something noble and I'm gonna help people with their dreams and goals, and then it's just gonna take off and people I'm gonna build it and they'll come. And I have learned that
Yeah,
marketing is key.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then you need to have a product, a back end offer, something you're pushing out to your audience to fund the marketing to get more people to impact more people. And so
yeah,
it's like, how can I package this and how can I get this information out to people such that it impacts the most amount of people? And that
yeah,
typically comes down to using money as a tool, which is why it's
yeah,
so important to understand the flow of money and be okay with that flow of it coming into your life and going out to come
yeah,
back in because you're investing it wisely.
100%. I love that.
Sales and marketing, though, tell us about what specifically with sales and marketing you need to grow in, because wide spheres those are.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a big step to step on social media. But I was never a big fan of social media. My wife enjoys it and she's on there for hours and she reads things and she leaves comments. And I was just like, what a waste, I rather like watch a movie or play a game or do something. But for me, it was never like a thing. And now, like being on it and now really like creating content, thinking about what I want to say, how I want to say it, like at the same time staying authentic to myself and not just becoming this robot which reads something off the screen and it gets all weird, right? So that's been for me in the marketing world. What I learned from it, it really helped me become more authentic,
Mm,
because yeah, it just doesn't work. You can't show up fake. Like you can try, but it's so boring. No one wants to see it. People want to see your vulnerabilities. People want to see your struggle. People want to see you fall flat on your face and get up again and be like, okay, tomorrow I'll do better. And so
yeah.
for me, that's been my marketing journey. And yeah, it's still freaking me out every time I press send on an email list and it goes out to, hundreds and thousands of people, because it's just like, oh my God, what people gonna think? Who's gonna judge me? What's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, that's for marketing, definitely. For me, it's this connecting to my authentic version of myself and become more authentic every single day.
Mm, yeah, 100%. So getting your authentic self out to as many people as possible, that's the marketing aspect of
Yeah,
it.
and also like practicing being more authentic and really being like, okay, let me listen. Like, what does my authentic version of myself want to say? Not what I think I should be saying as the coach and the yoga teacher trainer, right? And I have all these very cool tips for you, and I sound very educated and very up here, right? But all that is bullshit because people are so tired of it. No one wants to hear that
Yeah.
crap anymore. People want to see a guy like me who practiced for 30 years saying like, shit, I don't know, like I'm struggling, figuring shit out every day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel you. I feel you. So the vulnerability in your content and in your emails that you're sending to your email list, that's key. Is there any part of you that's doing ads right now, or is that a future
No, I do
task?
little ads. I do ads on TikTok just because I love TikTok. I don't know if you got a chance to look through my TikTok channel, But that's been where I started, and that's what I love to do. I do a little Instagram and Facebook too, but it's kind of like, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But TikTok just started with this whole ad campaign, so it's really easy and it's really affordable to do ads on TikTok. So I play with it, and yeah, it's fun. I love it, and again, I reach new people, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah. How do TikTok ads convert? Are the like impressions still pretty cheap?
Super cheap. I mean, I had one campaign where I converted like 50 cents to a dollar for a lead. That's like in comparison to Facebook, like a tenth of the price.
Yeah, literally Facebook will be $10 to $20 per
You
lead.
know, yeah. So TikTok is the way to go these days. But it's short, right? It's going to be for the next 6 to 12 months, and then it's going to
Yeah,
all
and then it's
change.
gonna skyrocket. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, awesome. What are the highest impact daily actions that are gonna tick the needle forward towards your dreams and goals?
Um, Good one, because my first answer would have been my morning routine. My meditation, my yoga, my time I spend with myself, my going inwards. But because that's been such a part of my life, like brushing my teeth and taking a shower, I would now say really this pushing myself out of the comfort zone. Writing those emails, putting those ads up, going out there, making the videos in the way I want to make them. And yeah, because that's what makes a difference. That's what connects me with more people, and that's what allows me to continue living my dream. Because if I don't do that, I can be the best coach in the world. If I don't get clients who pay me money, I need to find myself a different job to pay the rent and buy food, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, writing the emails, getting the ads out there, writing the sales letters, all the stuff that's gonna basically be sales and marketing.
Yeah, totally. And again, it comes right back to that. And it's cool because my answer really would have been just a couple of months ago, oh, my morning practice, my going inwards. But that's like so much part of the fundamentals now that doesn't challenge me, to wake up at 5 o'clock and meditate for 2 hours. That's easy now because I've been doing it for so long. But
Yeah.
writing a sales letter is freaking like I start sweating, like,
Yeah.
oh, please, can I please not write this? I clean the house instead. So I
Yeah,
don't have to sit on my computer, so I can procrastinate around it, right? So
I gotcha. I gotcha. I was gonna ask, what is your highest ticket offering right now? If you
right.
are
Yeah, no problem.
happy.
Yeah, I'll be happy talking about it. What I do right now is I offer my 6 month coaching package for $3,000. And that's, I can take on a maximum really of 20 clients without it going like crazy overboard where I work like 12-hour days. And so that's kind of the highest ticket thing I offer right now.
Gotcha. And is that individual coaching or is that
Yeah, one-on-one. Yeah, I love doing one-on-one because it's so impactful. And I know a lot of people talk about group coaching, and I definitely want to offer that too. But I'm not at the place yet where I say, okay, I'll put on my 4-week group coaching program for $25,000, like I know
yeah,
some people promote these kinds of notions. But yeah, I think I'm finally at a point now where I can accept the fact that that is a good value exchange, right? To put my program at that point, because when I started, I charged for the same thing $300. And people were like, now we can, well, it's a lot of money, maybe I shouldn't. And funny enough, actually, never anything has changed in the responses when I raised my price, but my clients have gotten more committed as I'm raising the rates. So that's a big learning lesson for me too.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that such a weird thing?
It's so weird. It blows my mind still today. And yeah, I mean, I'm at the same point. I mean, I pay my coaches, I have two coaches, I pay them $5,000 each. And I mean, they changed my lives.
Yeah.
It's that powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. The raising price, it didn't make sense to me at all. Cause I'm like, why are people more committed to me when I, raise the price versus when I offer them like a free mastermind that's weekly, where it's like, I will literally change your life if you just show up consistently. Like, I promise you, will take you somewhere awesome. But people just don't value free stuff.
No,
Like,
no, no,
if
they
you
don't.
think about the stuff you get for free, you don't have a problem throwing it away because it didn't cost you
No.
anything, you know? And so
Or except people like us who understand the concept, because I do have a guy, you know, who charges $10,000 for his coaching program. And I wasn't in a position where I wanted to invest that because I'm already working with my two coaches. And so he puts out free stuff every week, and I'm like on it, you know,
oh,
I'm watching it. I'm one of the commenters. I'm like, awesome, half an hour of free stuff again from the $10,000 coach. Like, dude, like there's so much amazing stuff out there. Like Tony Robbins puts on a whole week event, 4 hours a day for
yep.
free.
Hmm.
No, like,
Yeah.
blows my mind.
It's crazy. And it's just so much value being added for free. It is you know, sometimes you'll get in that and the law of reciprocity will hit you and then you'll end up buying whatever they're selling.
Oh, of course. And I want to, you know, like I want to make so much money that I can be like, oh, here's your $10,000 check. Let's go. You know,
Hmm.
you gave me so much value over the last year and I love you. And I mean, that's the goal ultimately. And that's why I think it's so cool that he continues to offer the free stuff. And it's an inspiration for me too, where I want to give out more free stuff
Yep.
because I know ultimately, you know, the people who are interested in it will come around.
Yeah, I feel that. Do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
Name seems familiar, but I don't know where to put him.
Yeah, he's kind of a big-ish entrepreneur in the internet marketing space. Or he kind of came up in the internet marketing space, like that's where he made his fortune, but now he's just kind of he's basically a venture capitalist now.
Okay.
But he talks about this thing called customer financed acquisition, and it's how he scaled his companies from $0 to 2.2 million a month in
Oh,
like
wow.
3 to 6 months, or maybe it was 6 to 12 months. It could have even been 1 to 2 years. Regardless, he said,
Yeah.
this is how I scaled my companies without capital being a constraint in the company. And so basically what he says is, which is also keeping on track with our high ticket offers, he was saying, take your cost to acquire a customer, add it to your cost to fulfill that customer. So say it costs me, you know, I'm getting Facebook leads, $20 a lead, and I close 5% of my leads. So I need 20 people to close one lead. I think I
Yeah.
did the math right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my cost to acquire one customer is $400. So that's your
Yeah.
cost to acquire. Then he says your cost to fulfill the customer. Say you're paying another coach because your coaching business is huge now. You pay them $1,000 to fulfill that customer.
Okay.
$1,400
Yeah.
to is your cost to acquire and your cost to fulfill. He says if you multiply that number by two, you have $2,800. That's the amount of money you need to get in profit from dealing from one customer within 30 days. So, you know, to get that in profit, you basically have to multiply that cost to acquire and cost to fulfill by three. You know,
Oh,
you
wow.
take 1,400, you multiply it by three. You need to get $4,200 from your client within 30 days, and then capital won't be a constraint because it's like the 1,400 to fulfill, you have 1,400 to get your next customer, and you have 1,400 in profit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was just talking about that, and it was like, that's really interesting because his perspective on business was you need to be the business that can pay the most for the customer, not the business that can acquire the customer the cheapest, which is a really interesting switch in mindset because I'm always like, okay, you know, Facebook is $20 per lead. How can I get $2 per lead? Then my
Yeah.
conversions
Yeah.
would be better. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, why don't you just go with Facebook and triple your price and make sure you can acquire customers at a profit and scale without capital being a constraint. And when he said that, man, I was like, oh my gosh. It just blew my mind of like, you know, if you amped your coaching offer up to $9,000 for what is
Yeah.
it, 6 months, right?
6 months. Yeah.
You could definitely just run buku ads
Oh,
and
yeah.
you'd be acquiring customers profitably because it's like it's not going to cost you $5,000 to get one customer. You know,
Right.
it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
you're gonna if you get your messaging right and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah. And it's such a cool concept. But then the reality hits. I mean, at least I can tell you how it was for me. When I was charging $1,800 per customer for the 6 month coaching, and I made the decision to change my rate to 3,000, I was like already sweating. I was like, oh my God, no one will ever buy from me again. This is like the worst thing ever in my entire life. I was like, the self-worth thing is going on, and is that even worth it? And oh my God, and how can I? And so I went through this process, and then something really cool and interesting happened for me. It was in end of October that I decided to change from 1,800 to 3,000 by January 1st. No, by December 1st. And then suddenly, every conversation I had with a client in those next 4 weeks converted at
Mhm.
1,800, because I knew it's like, dude, why would you not sign up with me? I'm raising my price in 4 weeks. This is such a good deal. Now, suddenly in my mind, the 1,800 was a steal. And the customer felt that while I was talking to them, and they're like, of course, I trust you. You think it's a steal. I buy from you. When I
Yep.
say now, hey, Timmy, do you want to buy from me? It's only $9,000. But in my mind, I'm thinking, shit, I'm ripping Timmy off here. You feel that, and you don't want to buy from me. You don't
Exactly.
even know why, but you're
Yep.
like, maybe it's a maybe. Maybe call me next week or in 2 years or never.
Yeah. 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 No, absolutely.
You
That's a really good point. Having conviction in the product you're selling will be transferred to your prospect during a sales call.
Holy, 100%. And that's why, we talked about marketing, and the other one, like is sales. And sales is all about conviction. And sales is about inner value. And sales is about saying, hey, I charge $3,000 for my coaching. Like, and it really, that has been such a challenging thing for me, that I'm so happy that I haven't set a date yet where I have to raise my price. Like you're saying, I would probably set and never have to worry again if I just raised my price to $9,000 today.
Yeah.
But because I have this internal story going on and this internal struggle, I'm like, maybe this, and then I talk to people. My wife is like, here in Mexico, people can't pay so much. Maybe should lower it to half. And I'm like, no, I finally made it to 3K. I can't lower it again.
Yeah.
So it's been such an emotional journey where I just want to hide under my blanket so I don't have to think about it, because it's so challenging.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. Those beliefs and those stories that we've been telling ourselves for years really can get in the way.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, well, what's your high ticket offer? I'm just curious now.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually don't have an active offer. I was rebuilding my value ladder. And right now, I'm thinking the kind of beginning of the funnel will be so I have my high ticket offer, but I'm slacking on the marketing. I'm gonna just
Okay.
run you through my value ladder real quick.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah, do
familiar
it, do
with
it.
Russell Brunson?
I am. I love Russell. He's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
my new guru. I had like all these yogi gurus. Now I got Russell. And he's
Exactly.
kicking my ass just as my other gurus did before.
Oh my gosh, Russell is he's such a beast. He's such a beast. I think he actually talked to Hormozy about it. But anyway, my offer right now is like you have the freebies, which is like the podcast. I want to get a monthly event going. And honestly, as I scale in every major city across the country, but then I have
Yeah.
my other freebie, which is like these are questions that are going to provide clarity and get you on the path to changing your life. The low end offer will then be the 5 day curate your environment. It's going to be an email challenge.
Oh, cool.
I'm curious if I'm going to make it 5 days or 10 days, but that'll be like curate your internal environment and then curate your external environment with the people you're around, the things that are in your life, and then, addressing limiting beliefs, thoughts, actions, feelings, etc.
Yeah, yeah,
Then there's this 6 week trust accelerator. And this is why I was asking about group coaching earlier. For the longest time, I was struggling with just getting funding for my marketing
yeah,
and
yeah,
my sales and my because I'm 23, so I don't have like just a ton saved up. I don't have a ton in a 401k that I'm accessing, and so I was like, what if I just got 3 to 5 other people that were just as interested in this as me, and we kind of went at it together, right? And so
yeah,
the 6 week trust accelerator is about getting basically a mastermind of 3 to 5 people that you're really in on this thing with, and you're going to buy businesses and buy real estate together, or you're going to market your product or service together, whatever it may be. But
Yeah.
the idea is that every person, pitches in an extra $500 a month. So now you have $3,000 a month just to market. And when you learn how to market, $3,000 a month to market can make you 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 a month.
Of course, yeah.
Then you pour it back in, you pour it back in. So first you invest in skills, and then you invest in getting that product out there. That's what the 3,000 a month is for. And so that's what the 6-week trust accelerator is for. I kind of want to pair people up, be like, hey, go through this, like build trust. So you actually know you want to go on a business venture with these people.
Yeah.
And after that, you got the high end offer, which is my deal makers mastermind. This is where the people in the mastermind, they're buying businesses, we're buying real estate together, and we're doing deals together. And that's my high end. Like, it's going to be, you have to enter it as a group of 6. So the 6-week trust accelerator will then filter into the deal makers mastermind. And that's like 6 figures for a year. And so each member is paying about 10, 20,000. And the trust accelerator is at that like $5,000 mark. Now, here's the thing with my value ladder. I haven't done the group investment to wealth yet. So I feel kind of weird coaching people doing the group investment to wealth.
Right.
So right now I'm getting that group together where we're going to go buy some real estate, getting some family members, some close friends. We're going to basically pool our funds into an LLC and market for real estate deals. So that's
awesome.
what we're going to do. And then I'm going to take that offer to the public. But that's kind of the value ladder that I see my coaching business going to. Those are some of my high ticket offers, not currently being marketed. I'm sticking with the low end offer of curating your environment email challenge. However, what I will say is from this conversation and from thoughts within the past week or two, it's $79.99 in my value ladder right now. I might easily make that challenge $799, make it a 3-week challenge or something like that, and do live video. Because I was reading .com Secrets by Russell Brunson.
Oh yeah, amazing.
He was telling me how you need to make your first thing that you're going in with at least over $1,000 so you can actually cover the ad spend.
Right.
Which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, that's kind of my value ladder. I
love it.
Love getting people together and then helping them buy businesses and buy real estate so that they can then spend their time impacting the people they want to impact, making, like, so many people have these ideas for like nonprofits, or they want to go pursue art, or they want to go do this or that, or they want to go be coaches. And it's like, you can just do it in such a freer way when you're financially free, because you're not like stressing about the income.
Oh, and it's the same for all of us. I mean, we're all living in this materialistic world. We all want to drive a nice car. We all want to live in a nice place. We all want to be able to go buy our food at Whole Foods and eat the organic stuff where, an apple costs $3. But, if the money is not there, you can't do it.
Yeah. And
so it's really, I think this is something we have from our parents, our great-grandparents, great-grandparents, this thing like, oh, people with money are bad, and I don't want to be one of those bad people who has the money and takes advantage of others, right? Like these ingrained, internal, genetically passed on beliefs. And I mean, I'm struggling with that. And that's like stuff I talk to my coaches about all the time, where I'm like, oh my God, come and help me. I'm again hitting the wall where I'm like, I'm feeling so bad that I'm asking for this. But to really understand that my coaching program really should be $9,000, because it would just end all these, like, where do I have money? Where do I get the next client? How do I fill my calendar? All these things just come to an end the second I get over myself and I accept the fact that, the reason I'm not as prosperous as I want to be has nothing to do with the big, mean world out there, but everything to do with my limitations and my, small mindset around money.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually have a section of the podcast all about limiting beliefs.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so we should talk about money on that one. I'll be happy to come on and we can explore that. Maybe by then I'll have my offer raised to 9,000. That would be cool.
No, the section, we were going to get into that section today. So we're just going to jump to it right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you had another podcast for that.
No, no, no. It's like that the last
Okay,
section.
let's do it because we're already there.
Yeah, let's do it. So if you had to put that limiting belief to words, what is that limiting belief that continues to pop up in your life? If you had to put it in a concise sentence or 2.
Around money?
Or if you have others that are more prevalent, whichever one.
No, I think the money one is a big one just because it's so real and it's right there in front of me. And what I really realized, and this is something which you know as a coach too, when you get really clear on what your block is, suddenly all your clients talking to you about that block with you, right? And they're like,
Uh-huh.
hey, I have this thing which came up and it's this thing with money and I want to talk to you about it. And it's like, oh, okay, let's talk about it, right? So this is something which has been coming up in my coaching conversations. It's around self-value, it's around money, it's around, just even thinking about charging $9,000 for my coaching program gets me sweating in my seat here, because I'm thinking like, okay, is that my self-worth? Am I ready to go out there and say, this is what I'm charging? And how do I feel about myself when I say this?
Yeah.
And so this is really what limits me. And, you kind of inspired me to probably do raise my prices soon again. And so maybe,
I was about to
sorry,
say,
everybody, if
are
you're
you going to
hearing
do
this
it soon?
podcast late, it's going to be $9,000 now for my coaching.
Yeah. So the limiting belief around money is like, am I actually worth this amount of money?
Yeah, exactly.
I got
Or is my service worth that?
you. I
And
got
so, the short answer really is yes, but ultimately I need to believe it so that when I'm in front of my clients, they can believe it because they don't know me, they don't know if they can know me, trust me, like me, right? All these things. And so it really comes down to this, okay, if you believe it, I believe you. And I'm happy to send you a check for $9,000.
you. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So where do you think that comes from? Are my services worth this? Am I actually worth this amount of money? Where does that
Well,
limiting?
for me, it comes from my parents. I can see it very clearly. My parents, my grandparents were all really hard workers. Germany after the Second World War was all about like, tightening your belt, eating super simple food, saving money, working hard. And the harder you work, the more successful you are. And there was none of the, oh, in order to be more successful and make more money, you can do less to get there. It was always this, you have to do more and you have to work harder and you have to work 12-hour days, 13-hour days, 14-hour days, and then you can have more money. And so I feel that in myself because that's so much part of my identity where I'm like, oh, sure, I can have more money. I just never spend time again with my kids and my wife and I just work all day. I might double the amount of money. But I'm at a point now where that doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, fuck the money. I don't want it. If that means I can't go in the forest and walk around, I can't enjoy watching TV with my son or playing a game. It's like, then all the money is completely useless.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that.
Because that's what I saw in my parents, my grandparents.
Yeah.
When
Just
they
the working
wanted
hard
more
for money.
money, they would be out the house all day. And I didn't have a close relationship with my dad because he worked 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And he was exhausted when he came home. So
Yeah.
there was and it was a big loss for me, right?
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you. And so, do you have any limiting actions that reinforce that belief? So, we know it comes from your parents. We know what the belief is, but any actions, either in your daily life, they can happen weekly, monthly, even annually, but limiting actions that reinforce it.
Oh, I realized when I had to start saying, "Hey, I charged my $3,000 for my coaching," I got to a point, and that was actually quite recently, where I coach people super powerfully, spent like an hour and a half with them, and then by the end just said, "Okay, thanks, bye," rather than making them an offer and rather than saying like, "Do you want help with this?" And them saying like, yeah, I mean, how does it work? And then me explaining and then waiting for them to say, so how much does it cost?
Mm,
you know
yeah.
and I would cut this whole part of my coaching because I had this limiting belief of, oh, I can serve them so much better when I show up for them and don't ask for money. right? But now I'm it's really shifting for me where I'm like, who am I? Who am I to decide for Timmy that he doesn't have the $3,000 to invest in hiring me as a coach because I feel uncomfortable asking.
Yeah.
Like, again, this is the stepping out into the zone of service. This is being uncomfortable and saying, hey, my coaching with me is $9,000. And even saying it right now, I had to swallow because I was like, no, shit, I'm not saying that to my clients. It's great. And that's what I love about it. That's where my spiritual growth is happening these days. And I really enjoy it.
Yeah. I love it. I love your awareness of it too. That's really awesome. It sounds like you got some good coaches that you've hired.
Yeah, I love it. I love working with them.
Well, if you were to change that limiting belief into an abundant phrase that really spoke to your heart, what would that phrase be?
The phrase would be, I value myself and the service I bring to the world at such a deep level that I'm willing to charge $9,000 for my coaching. By December 1st, 2023. Haha, I got myself out of it for a couple of months. But I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. By December 1st? You sure you don't want to make that June 1st?
Well, June 1st would be better, but I did last time on December. What is it? Well, I think June 1st was a little early still for my insecurities.
I got you. 9,000 by December 1st, 2020.
But I'll settle for October 1st.
October.
No, September 1st, because that's the middle.
There we go. There we go.
There we go. Now we got something going here. I'm
you
just
ever-
sweating minorly, not properly.
Have you ever read that book, Never Split the Difference?
No, never heard about it. Let me write it down.
It's a pretty good book. It's on negotiating. He just talks about how when somebody comes back and they're like, yeah, we'll just go in the middle. Just don't do that.
I didn't read it, see?
yeah. But knowing that, are you sure you don't want to go June 1st? Like, you could have your first $9,000 client June 5th, you know?
I probably could,
Yeah.
Honestly, what I learned is, why not change it today? Why wait till June?
There we go.
Right?
That's a good question. Do you have a good answer? I don't.
At this point, honestly, no. It's really just my insecurities, and it's just being a little bit more comfortable and pushing it out there. What I realized when I changed from 1,800 to 3,000 was that making that, having that buffer time really allowed me to move into it and ease into it, because every person I talked to was just like, dude, it's like, why would you not sign up?
Yeah.
And so I think that's like a little bit of, okay, I can feel a little comfortable in here.
I gotcha. That's a good enough reason for the buffer time for me.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I'll allow it.
Thanks for letting me off the hook.
Awesome. Well, when these limiting beliefs start to take over, what thoughts or actions do you resort to take back control?
I sit my ass down and I meditate for an hour. I meditate for 2 hours. I meditate till the point when I realize that I'm just abundance, all oneness, that I'm here to serve, and ultimately, the money doesn't matter.
Yeah, I like that. We got one more question, and then we're gonna have two more that are in the dreams and goals section. We're gonna jump back a little bit. What's your favorite belief about yourself?
My favorite belief would probably go into that it's all possible and that I can do it. And this is something I had since I'm a kid, where I knew if I wanted it just enough that it can happen. I mean, to the point where it was almost scary, where I was like, okay, if I want this enough, I'm going to get it. If I want to be enough with this girl, I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna be with this girl, and then all the, you know, the things which would come as
Yeah.
things I didn't see, right? Or if I wanted to have this job enough, or I wanted to have this, whatever it was, right? And so if I realized, like, if I have the clarity on why I want it, and if I want it enough, and this is something I feel with my coaching business now too. I want this so much, and I'm so clear on it that I'm ready to, you know, I already jumped. I already burned the ships at the beach. There's no way back, you know, like I'm gonna, you know, it's either gonna go to the next level or something big is gonna change. And I know it's gonna happen. And so for me, that's really one of my favorite beliefs about myself, because I really believe it.
Yeah. I love it. What character trait do you most need to develop right now to make your dream life come true?
Character trait I need to develop. I think I need to become more outgoing and more authentic in my way of going out, you know, to really express my full, you know, lay my whole soul bare, you
Yeah.
know, and not this, oh, okay, I show you 60% because those 40% I'm not so sure if you will be accepting of it. So I'll show you the pretty side, right? I'll keep showing you that side. So for me, it's really, I know this, the success and to take it to the next level is directly connected to that. You know, as soon as I can integrate my shadow fully, as soon as I can lay it all out there, and not just 95% or not just 96%, but put it all out, things will just completely change, because it will also change my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah. Outgoing. I love it. Got one last question for you.
Yeah.
If there were one or two people you could meet right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take that next step towards your dreams and goals, who would they be and how would they help you?
It's a good one. You know, like probably at this point, I would love to hang out with Russell, you know, just because I think it's so much fun and he does these amazing things. And I'm at a point now in my spiritual journey where I realized that, you know, I could say like the Dalai Lama or this guru or that guru or someone, but ultimately with those kinds of people, you know, there wouldn't even be much of a conversation. That's just like sitting and being in their space and enjoying that.
Yeah.
So at this point, yeah, I think Russell would certainly take the top spot there, and it would be fun to just spend an afternoon and be inspired by his energy.
There we go. I love it. Well, Amrit, that's all we got for you, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course. And if you guys are listening to this and you loved what Amrit had to say, make sure to check him out. All the links to do so will be down in the show notes. I believe they can get a free 20-minute coaching call. Is that right?
They can do that. I have that on my page. Really, what I want to offer is, rather than coming on this short call, I would love to offer a 90-minute call for people who are really committed. But in order to do that, you need to reach out to me and you need to say, like, I want this, you know, because the free calls, I have like 4 out of 5 people don't show, and it's quite frustrating. So don't be one of those 4 out of 5 people who doesn't show up for the free call. Send me an email, say, I heard about your free 90-minute session on Timmy's call, and I want it because I know I'm ready for it. And then I won't charge you $9,000.
There we go. There we go. What if they're like, but I'm holding you accountable to charging me 9,000 because you said so on the podcast?
Ooh, then I'll love you a lot, and I'll probably serve you 10 times more.
There we go. Well, awesome. If you guys are listening to this, reach out to him, email him, tell him you're serious about the 90-minute call, and please don't waste people's time, because not showing up for those free calls is very painful for us entrepreneurs. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Amrit, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. That was super fun.
Of course. We'll see you guys on the next one. And on that note, we're out.